Hi everyone and welcome to the 2.5 hours of Road Atlanta, organized by the RAC group in Assetto Corsa. And this was a very long and arduous race, single driver, no driver swaps. And I was taking part in the slowest class of them all, the GT class, driving the Ferrari 250 GTO. However, the pole was for this Bizzarrini. We start in 4th in our class, but there's a lot of cars surrounding us, mainly from the P2 class, the prototypes, very fast in the corners, but close to us in terms of straight line speed. We come out of the last corner here on the formation lap, trying to get some distance to the car ahead. I don't want to crash this early, I don't want to risk it. And the green flag comes out and we all accelerate into the first corner. I have a Corvette here that has passed me for position, so we are now in 5th place, but there's a long way to go. As you can see, a bit of a stack up here, some cars braking hard, lots of chaos. That Ferrari and the Jaguar get past us, not the best of starts. A bit of contact here, first car that goes off, this Porsche 910, not in our class but fighting for position. Now the S's, very complicated corners in this car, you have to be careful with the weight transfer at all times. Jumping over the curbs all the time. This feels like a 90s DTM race, we are constantly using these curbs. And now we are finally free. Well, there's this Dino that's going slow, but we have a bit of gap ahead and behind, so we can focus on hitting up those tires and getting the hang of the car. Now I'm stuck behind this other Ferrari, which is in our class, same car, but a very fast driver. Lap 2, the Corvette goes wide into turn 1, the other Ferrari gets side by side with it. We'll try to gain one position. Now the Corvette was a bit slow at first, so I have to get past it quickly to follow Ferrari. Around the outside, this will become the inside of the next corner. I brake a little bit later, don't touch that curb, which is a bit tricky, and finally get past. But those first few laps here I was in, I think, 5th place. Those first few laps were all about letting those P2s past. These cars started further down, a lot of them hadn't qualified, so they were faster than us, and it was a bit of a complicated situation because I didn't want to get into fights with them. We were starting 27th overall, and there were about 50 cars, so there was a lot of traffic at all times. I let this Dino by, and the laps just kept ticking, and finally we have the race leaders in the 7-liter prototypes starting to get by. And at the same time we are catching the slower cars in our class. Well, there were some of them that were pretty slow. This Porsche was having trouble all race long, and here I have to get past it, so putting a lap on this car. But here I brake a little bit late, Porsche gets side by side again trying to get the lap back, and we make a little contact. There isn't much space given, but we continue. Now some of these cars were lapping us, some of them were on the same lap as us. For example, this Nissan, which was very quick in the corners but not so much in the straightaways, and we pretty much started fighting for position even though we are in different classes. I didn't want to lose that much time. Ferrari was getting away for 4th, so it was a case of getting our head down and trying to get clean laps, which was very difficult because some of these guys were passing us in very complicated spots like the S's, which is a big no-no. Here I just have to lift because I didn't want to risk it anymore. And that brought the Nissan close to us again. So this was a long battle. Didn't want to risk too much because, again, not for a class position. But here I go a bit wide and the Nissan will get by. Again, a much more agile car, even though the engine is not as powerful as our Ferrari V12. Gets inside, I lift. Very close, very clean move by them, really nice. But here, as you can see, at the end of the straight we are almost passing them again. We can brake a little bit later, but maybe a bit too late. They go wide, they touch the curb, and here we get past. Behind I can see the Ferrari, which is pitted. They are going for a two-stop strategy against one, but here I just step on the glue trap, right? This kerb has a slowdown system, an artificial slowdown, which cost me a lot there, and I lost the position to the Ferrari again. I didn't even notice I had gained the position on it, but yeah, at this point in the race, I had unknowingly been third because some cars went for a two-stop strategy. I was going for a one-stop, so hour and a half pit and do the last hour, but here, as you can see, we have lost this position. We are back into 4th place because another of the Bizzarrinis is also going for a two-stopper. Here I tried to stick to this Ferrari because each of us has just one pit stop left, so it's very important not to lose sight of them. Now on the straightaway, this is a long one. This is the only rest you get during the entire lap, but even then you have to be very precise into this corner, not to lift. I get a good draft of the Ferrari and I will try an inside move, but they brake so late. I think they might have new tires, I'm not sure. Either way, they were very fast despite starting behind us. Final corner, very tricky. It's a lift, you don't really have to downshift. I touch the brakes always to get the car rotated a little bit more. And onto another lap. The first corner, again, another tricky one, but we might have a chance. They brake early, we go for it. Very deep under braking, but again, a bit too deep. Touch the curb and that almost spins me out. These curbs are very slippery. I lose the position to the Nissan, and most importantly, we have the other Bizzarrini behind. This Bizzarrini was in a two-stop strategy. This was driven by Robert Hopkins, I think, and we'll see a lot of this car during the race. As you can see, Robert is trying to pass me here for 1st place. Goes on the inside. I will try to brake late. He brakes late as well, side by side. He slips a little bit, and I keep the position. This was a long battle, which was complicated with the traffic. This Bizzarrini ahead was a lap down now. Won't get a great exit from this corner, so I will have a good chance to pass. But here you see this Ford GT40, which was in top class, threads the needle through the middle, but then locks brakes. I have to slow down. It wasn't very fast around the corners, the Ford, so we are stuck here in traffic. But this is the Bizzarrini storm. You see the Matra on the inside. Bizzarrini goes wide, goes off track, so now I have a little bit of a breather for the first time in a while. I have opened the gap, but how long will this last? I go a bit sideways again, very tricky turn 1, a bit bumpy on the entry, and these two cars will decide to just sandwich me and pass me here. And I have to lift, not to crash into the Matra, and once again, that Bizzarrini had gone off track a couple corners earlier, but here it is again. Tries an outside move, very good traction for the Bizzarrini out of that corner. I keep the inside line, keep it, but now the Dino will get side by side with me. Very complicated situation here, but we managed to make it out alive. Now, however, this Jaguar will pass the two of us. This was a very quick car. We are 3 wide, there's another car there somewhere, so if you look on the radar, in the middle of the screen, you can see that there's a lot of cars around us. I can't see whoever's besides me, that's the Dino. Brake early, don't want to get in trouble. And somehow, after all of that, we keep our positions 4th and 5th with the Bizzarrini. This duel was very long. The ebbs and flows of traffic, as you can see, just kept changing the positions. Here I run into this Jaguar. Same class as us, but a bit slower overall. We were about to put the lap down. Bizzarrini tries again on the outside. Try to close the door. Jaguar goes wide. This is my chance to pass. But as I said again, the main strength of the Bizzarrini was traction. And here I slip a little bit. And Robert uses that chance to get past. Very clean move, besides all the traffic. But yeah, next lap. Old friend, the Porsche, in trouble. Getting past, slips, slides, spins, and we somehow survive. But here, I think that Robert was doing a better job than me with the traffic, despite our pace being similar. That, or it just seemed to always get caught up by traffic into this corner. And I was having trouble coming out of some of the corners, so losing a lot of time here. Even more time was lost with another Jaguar, trying to put it a lap down. Same thing for the Shelby and the Corvette. But that Jaguar was fighting, and here comes the chaperone, leader of the race. 3 wide under the bridge, not a good place to do that. But the Jaguar just drifts wide, touches me, a bit of contact with the Dino as well, and that wheelie from the Jaguar, just like the Fast and Furious movie or something. Somehow I am still alive, but this isn't over. The Porsche goes by, the Dino will try to pass, and look in the mirror now because we will get hit from behind, and I'll have to just cut these corners to avoid more contact. And all of that hard work trying to pass the Jaguar was for nothing, because now it's back ahead of me. One more lap, still trying to pass the Jaguar. The E-Type go deep under braking. They have to go on the inside to let the other car by, and I can do the old switcheroo, as F1 commentators would say, and get on the inside. Clean move this time, no contact. And the race continues. Hour and a half gone. I have to pit for tires and fuel, but I cannot do it this lap because there's a car on the inside, so traffic all the time getting in the way. I will have to wait another lap. This part of the footage was sadly lost, so there's no footage of me entering the pit lane, which the pit lane did not have a speed limit, so it was a bit complicated to get in, a bit scary. I get out of the pits, and at this point I'm trying to undercut the Bizzarrini and the Ferrari, trying to set a few clean laps with a much heavier car now, so I have to fight the steering. But the idea is that I can set a quick pace and get past the other Bizzarrini once it does its second stop, and hopefully also the Ferrari 250. Now, I managed to do that. The Bizzarrini stopped and I was ahead of it. Also, one of the Ferraris had trouble, so at this point I was third on the road. However, traffic giveth, traffic taketh away, and here I am in a complicated situation. This P2 prototype is going to try to pass me here. No room, so I'm going to brake a little bit later, but Chaparral will get a very good run on the straightaway. That was a very fast car. The Chevron seems to try to pass me as well, so I brake late, go on the outside, not much grip there, and I go off the track again trying to avoid a crash. Problem is, here comes the Bizzarrini, here comes Robert, and he gets past me once again. So now I am fourth. Everyone has done their stops in our class, so this is a straight fight for the podium. Getting traffic at the worst spots all the time. I cannot get to the apex here, so I'm losing a lot of time. And sometimes I just had to not let the other car by, like here, the Porsche 910. It's trying to pass on a very complicated spot, the S's. I'm not going to let people by on the S's, because this would probably be contact for both of us or a lot of time lost. So no blue flags here, this isn't Formula 1, but of course the other cars were also fighting. I'm putting a lap on the Austin Healey, I would say this is, but it's fighting back again on the brakes, so no quarter given by anybody, just straight up fighting all the time. Good thing is, yeah, the Healey might be very light and nimble, but I have a V12 and you don't, so bye bye. Traffic has its turn helping us, particularly our old friend the Porsche 904 hitting Robert into the hill here. Robert will go off track and I will have a great chance to close in. That Porsche was very slow, so Robert will pass it on the S's, and I can't afford to lose time, so I have to do something, switch back at the last minute, 2 wheels on the grass, and getting past the Porsche. That was a bit terrifying when it happened, but hey, we had to keep in touch with Robert. We ran into these slower cars, including the Smatcher, which was in the Petit class but wasn't very fast. and now Robert is stuck behind them. Gets on the grass as well, 2 wheels, and this is a very critical moment of the race because both cars will try to go for the same space, the matcher will slip a little bit, they make contact, I tried to guess which way Robert will go and I didn't get with the right one, so we make contact, luckily we both survive, but we are now very close on the slipstream, there's a car on the outside, lots of traffic at this point of the race. The Chevron was fast, but not that much faster on the straight line. The Ford should forward the gap. I tried to get off the slipstream and pass Robert, but there's no space. There's so many cars everywhere. Very close to the rear there. Ferrari just tries to pass 3 cars into one corner. I touched the curb, maybe take a little bit too much of it. We are side by side. Amazing battle for the podium here. It was a very long fight. Robert prevails here, but I get a decent exit. And this is my biggest regret of the race. I think I braked too late. I see I have a chance, I shoot for it, then I think better of it, but we make just contact, just the edge of the car. That was a shame. I'm so sorry for that, but here I wait for Robert. Not the best move, so I tried to give him the position back. However, doing all of that, here comes the race leader, at least in our class, putting us both a lap down. Look at the traffic, that Jaguar goes off track, Austin has to brake, a bit of an accordion effect. I will get a good exit, but slip a little bit, so the Porsche 910 will get that chance. Pass, okay, it's over, right? No more through one. Oh, wrong, there's another Porsche that almost causes a 3-way crash. Now there's 2 cars ahead of me, there's no way of passing, just constant chaos, a bit of contact again. So it was a terrifying experience, lots of traffic. Still, I could keep up with Robert, my lap times were good whenever there weren't cars around us. And he makes it past the Corvette, I need to do the same, we are putting the Corvette lap down. So, trying to get clean moves, not lose too much time. But again, we didn't have pace over that many people, right? Because we were on the slowest class, so all the time we were fighting everybody. Now there's a spin at the top of the hill, Robert has to go off track, has to skip the corner to avoid a crash, and comes back. Matra tries to pass on the outside here on the S's, and I can't let it by at this point, just constant fighting with everybody. Most of the cars were at least as fast as us on the straightaway, so it wasn't like we had a prototype and we could pass easily. But here, Robert will get almost hit, will get a bad exit out of the corner, and this is my chance. A bit of slipstream, get out of it, and use the momentum to finally get past Robert and into the podium. But hey, that wouldn't be long-lived joy, because the Jaguar prototype is coming in, the XJ13, beautiful car. Sadly, never got to race. And here I cannot get to the apex because there's a car there, so yeah, Robert is back behind me. So the battle isn't over, we might have gotten past, but Robert is not throwing the towel here. Both cars pretty similar in terms of pace. Here Robert will show me a will, but I will not let him by. I think there were about 20 minutes to go in the race. Sun was setting, a couple cars going off the track. One of them is the other Bizzarrini, the race leader. So now I am in a sandwich between both cars, very close in pace. And the Bizzarrini will get a bad exit from here, and I will take that chance to get back on the lead lap. So now I am not a lap car anymore, but this will start a 3-way battle between the 3 of us as Robert tries to get the lap back as well. This continued for a bit until I made my second big mistake here, following this Matra, which was very slow. I get back on the throttle and they just don't get back on the throttle or have trouble with traction, and we touch, they spin. I feel really bad about this one. I couldn't predict that, and Now I, again, lose the lap to Robert, but that's not the worst part of it. The worst part is having a second instance of contact that's technically my fault as the following car. The Nissan again, very quick on the corners, not so much on the straights. So, despite only having one car around me that was for position, this was a very long battle all the way. Fighting cars pretty much every lap. 50 cars in such a short track is a recipe for chaos. Robert is behind me again, gets very good exits out of the corners. Here tries to pass me with very few minutes left of the race, and I brake later, prevail once more. But on this same lap, Robert will have trouble. There's 10 minutes to go in the race, and this Ferrari will be a bit impatient here, passing on the SS, big no-no again. I make contact, Robert goes off track, makes contact again, goes off track again, and yeah, third time's the charm. A hit, a spin, and we were free to cross the line in third. A shame, because that battle was beautiful and just 10 minutes away from the end of a 2-hour-and-a-half race. It all came undone for Robert. This is the final lap here, just trying not to make mistakes, bring it home. Easier said than done here. Entering the corner absolutely sideways. These cars are a blast to drive. This Ferrari wasn't the fastest car in the class, I would say. The Bizzarrini was a bit better, but it was one of the easier ones. Now this Nissan, I talked to the driver afterwards to apologize. He said that he was saving fuel. This was the Nissan we had been fighting at the start. He was saving fuel, so he didn't really get on the throttle much here, slid a little bit, and again, same place contact. Thankfully he didn't lose any places, could save the spin. But here you can see, that's just me apologizing. But look at this is my throttle input. Green is the throttle. And as you can see, I come off completely, trying to avoid the impact, but it's too late. I wasn't expecting the Nissan to be this low out of the corner, so yeah, again, I'm sorry. A few mistakes, end of the race. The Porsche right behind me. It's not going to try to pass me into the last corner. Make it home third. Very proud of that. Wait, what's that? What's that right there? Is that the fourth?